Hello, I wanted to make a video about how to do Big 7 division, which is basically just long division, but we gave it a fancy name. It's called Big 7. It looks like this. So if you see your child doing something like this is what we have taught them to do. So I will show you how to do it over here. So here is the problem. 4,739 divided by 5. And then you want them to understand that this is the dividend and that this is the divisor. And our answer here is called the quotient. Knowing this vocabulary will help them because they will know that the divisor is the number of groups that they should have, and that the quotient is how many numbers or how many things are inside each group. And that if they add up all of those things, they will get 4,739. So it becomes really important when they check their work with multiplication. So the first thing they have to do is make something called a think box. And in it we're going to put 1, 2, and 5. So they're going to put 1, 2, 5, and then we're going to just put a 0 at the end of these, so it'll be 10, 20, 50, and then keep going like that. 100, 200, and then 500. And if we have to keep going, we will. And what you're going to do is just multiply using the divisor. So they have a divisor of 5. So you just fill it in like this. 1 times 5 is 5, 2 times 5 is 10, then 25, and then the kids know that if they're just going 10 times bigger, they just put a 0 at the end of it because we're shifting it over one place value. So 5 will become 50, 10 will become 100, and 50 times 5 will become 250. And we keep going like this until we get a product that is more than 4,739. So this would be 500, 1,000, and then 2,500. So I'm not at my 4,739 yet, so I have to keep going. So next I would do 1,000 times 5, and that's going to get me 5,000, so I can stop there. So the students know if this has 2 zeros in it, this should have 2 zeros in it. They do 2 times 5 is 10, and this has 2 zeros, so they put 2 zeros. So now that my think box is complete, I will look over here. My step 2 says I draw the big 7, so I will show you what the big 7 is. It is just a very big 7. And the kids also see that it kind of looks like when you do hangman. So that's the big 7. That's why it's called big 7. So now the next step would to be write my dividend and my divisor. The dividend is always, I call it the large group, because we take a large group and then we divide it or we split it into equal groups, smaller equal groups. So we have our large number, or our dividend, which is 4,739, and we are going to divide it by 5. On this side is where I'm going to be putting these, my quotients. So I'm going to be putting 5 times something. So I have to find over here the product that gets me closest to 4,739 but doesn't go over it. So if I'm going to start on the bottom. 5,000. 5,000 is over this amount, so I cannot pick 5,000. I'm going to pick the next biggest, which is 2,500. So I'm going to write 2,500. Over here is where I'm going to put what I multiplied 5 times something to get 2,500. So if I go over here, what I did was 500 times 5. So I need to put 500 right here. So that way I know 5 times 500 is 2,500. Now this is where knowing subtraction comes in play also. So division, in order to be successful, you have to know pretty much every operation. So 9 minus 0, 9. 3 minus 0, 3. 7 minus 5. If the students don't know this, I say put 5 in your head and then count up to 7. So if you put 5 in your head, you put your hand on your head, you put 5, and then you go 6, 7. So it took 2 to get to 7. So you put 2. 7 minus 5 is 2. 4 minus 2, put 2 in your head. 3, 4. So we got 2 more. So we have 2,239. Now I have to pick another product from over here that gets us close to 2,239 but doesn't go over it. So if I look right here, 500 is greater than 200, so I'm not going to be able to put this one anymore. But I can put 1,000, so I'll put 1,000. And I'll have to make sure I put my partial quotient over here. So over here will be our partial quotients. So I multiplied 5 times 200 to get 1,000. So 5 times 200 is going to go here, 200. All right, so now I'm going to subtract. Luckily, these are all zeros, so I know anything minus 0 is going to be the same amount. So 9, 3, 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. All right, now I need to go back over here and look at what's my closest product that will get us close to this but not over it, and I can repeat 1,000 again. It is okay to repeat the same number. It is perfectly fine. So if I already knew that 5 times 200 got me 1,000, then I'm going to put 200 over here also. So now I'm going to subtract. 9, 3, 2, nothing's there, so I just leave it blank. Now I have 239. Let me look back over here. Which one is closest to 239 but doesn't go over it? This one is definitely more, so I'm not going to pick that. That's definitely more. I'm not going to pick not that, not that. I see this one's 200, but it's 250. 50 is more than 30, so I cannot pick that either. But I know 100, that is a lot less than 200, so I'm going to put 100 down here. And if I look over here, I did 5 times 20 to get 100. So I have to do 5 times 20 and put 20 over here. All right, so now I do 9 minus 0 is 9. 3 minus 0 is 3. 2 minus 1 is 1. So I have 139 left. So now I go back over here, and I see that 100 is once again the only number I can get that's close to 139 but not over it. So I'm going to put 100 again. And I've got 9 and a 3, so 39. I can't forget my partial quotient. My partial quotient was 20. All right, so now I have 39. I can keep going because I can still divide by 5. So my next partial product, or my next product that's close to 39 but not over it is 25, because 50 is more than 39. 25 is very close to 39 but doesn't go over it. So I'm going to put 25. I'm running out of room. All right, 25. I'm going to put my partial quotient. 5 times 5 is 25. Now I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 5 is 4. 3 minus 2 is 1. I have 14 left. Sometimes the students will get upset because they're going to be running out of room, but that's okay. We can just carry on over here. So you can just repeat it. Just remember where you're at. So we had 5 and then 4,739, and we left off with Oh, sorry, you know what? Let me erase that. Let's just start over here. So we had 14 left over, and we can keep going because we can still divide by 5. If you look over here, the next product that is close but doesn't go over 14 is 10. So I'm going to put minus 10, and of course I multiplied 5 by 2 to get 10. 4 minus 0 is 4. 1 minus 1 is nothing, 0. So I have 4 left. Okay, what I'm seeing here is if I look over here, my smallest product that I have is 5. So since 4 is less than 5, that means I can no longer divide anything. So I like to say this thing right here is called our lonely remainder. It's all by itself. It was left alone, but we cannot forget it because it's still there. It's just left over. So what we need to do to find our whole quotient, we don't have it yet, is we have to add our partial quotients. This is part of the quotient, but not the full quotient. So we need to add it up so that it's a full quotient. So we have all of these quotients, partial quotients that we need to add. So we have 500 plus, I know 200 plus 200 is 400. So now I'm going to add 400, 0, 0, 9, okay? So I like to check off things as I do them so I know that I already added them. Okay, so I see I still need to do these. So 20 plus 20, I could just add that and I know it's 40. So I'm going to add 40. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 4 is 4. That is 9. Alright, so I added these, so I'm good. Now I need to add this 5. And I have this 2 over here. I cannot forget it. So let me check these off. We'll add 5 plus 2 is 6, 7. So I'm going to put 7. And now I have 947. But this is not my full quotient. I am forgetting something. I always say, don't be mean, do not leave it out. It's still there. It's our remainder. So we need to put the remainder of 4. And students always know they need to check their work in order to make sure it is correct. We don't just go with it and say, okay, that's correct. We actually write it out. We go 4,739 divided by 5 equals 947 with a remainder of 4. And we call it kind of like Stranger Things in the upside down world, but it's Stranger Math. We go backwards and we do, let me write it down here, 947 remainder 4 times, so we basically put times here and equals here, times 5 should equal 4,739 if we did it correctly. So this is where the area model comes in play, because we are multiplying a 3-digit number by a 1-digit number, which can be pretty difficult. So we need to decompose this. So we have a 900, we have a 40, and we have a 7, because the 9 means 900, the 4 means 40, and the 7 means 7 ones. Okay, so I know I need to multiply that by the 5. Right now, ignore the remainder, but we're going to make sure we include it eventually. We're going to put 5 here and make our area model, which is a big rectangle. Since there are 3 place values we have to look at, hundreds, tens, and ones, we're going to break it down into hundreds, tens, and ones. And we've got 900, 40, and 7. If you need help making an area model, hopefully already I have an area model video up that you can look at. If not, it will be coming shortly. to explain this in more detail. So what I do is I do 5 times 900. So I put 5 times 900. Right now I just focus on these digits that are not zeros. 5 times 9, you go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So we have 45. But this wasn't 100, so I know it's 100 times greater, so we have to shift it over 2 place values, and when we do that, it becomes 4,500. Then I do 5 times 40, and I go, 5 times 4, I go 5, 10, 15, 20. But I see I have to make it 10 times greater. I have to shift it over 1 place value. So it needs another 0 there, and it's 200. Then I have to do 5 times 7. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. All right, now these are my partial products because I multiplied products. So now I have to add these up to figure out if I got the correct answer. So I have 4,500 plus 200 plus 35. That is 5, 3, 7, and 4. So I have 4,735, which is not the same as 4,739. And you should figure out why if you look at this. We did forget one thing. We forgot our remainder. So we need to add our remainder in there. And it's a remainder of 4. So I have 9, 3, 7, 4. 4,739. And it matches our dividend. So our dividend is what we got down here. We had our quotient. We broke down our quotient, we multiplied it with our divisor, and we got our dividend, and we got it correct. If you have any questions, please send me a message or come visit me in my classroom, and I can help you. All right, thank you very much. This is the Big 7 strategy.